Hey, how you doing? Seems like you're upset that your favorite deck just isn't doing that well right now, hmm? Yeah, I get that. Well, I got you something. Hopefully, it'll cheer you up. Alright, see ya. Wait a second. That's it! White women.
Hi, my name's Sean, and this is the third time I'm doing this because I don't like any of the other ones that I've done before. Doesn't matter. This is a deck that I wanted to talk about for a very long time. I've been playing it since January. Um, and it's a very fun deck, but it's also a very hard deck. And I never felt like there was anything that I could bring to the conversation. I don't think that there was anything that I've done with the deck that has made me feel like I have like a good say in piloting it. That kind of changed recently. I went to a trophy tournament. I went undefeated for every round that I was in the tournament. I did actually drop out during top cut because I was paired against my friend David. He really wanted to go for it, and I'm like, I'm not going to attempt to steal this from you. I'm just going to give it to you. And then I dropped. Like, I conceded before I even picked up our cards. Um, that said, I still feel very proud of what I did with the deck, and I feel like it was the first time where I brought this to a locals or anything really, where I was consistently playing well with it. Like I felt like I was piloting it well. I won't say that I'm a great pilot. There's still a lot that I need to learn, but um, I want to talk about the deck. Okay, that's it. That's really it. I want to talk. I want to ramble. I haven't done that for a while. My favorite deck is not good in this format, so I'm going to talk about this one instead. Um, let's talk about the main deck, or let me talk about it, I guess. First, we got our different ladies, i.e., Lovely and two ladies. This card's great, but I always draw her. The woes of playing Labrynth, I guess, but I'm used to it at this point. And it's fine because I lost every single dice roll today, or not today. This was yesterday. And multiple times I saw my hand, and I still managed to get my games despite that. Um, so that's one thing. Second thing, two ladies. I know that she's been cut down to one recently, especially in the version of the deck that I am playing. Um, that said, as good as it feels, and I'll be honest, like taking one out just tickles my brain in the right ways. Where just like I don't have to worry about another one. A better pilot can honestly get away with one, you know. But me, every single time guaranteed that I only play this as a one of, it always gets banished face down, either by like some Kashtira shenanigans or like evenly or something like that. It gets outed, um, and I always regret it. So I've kind of just decided I'm gonna stick with two until I get to a point where I feel comfortable with one. And after making my leaps from one to two and two to one, and all back and forth, this is kind of what I've landed on, and I feel pretty good with it. And I think most Labyrinth players will agree. Although feel free to do what you want. The reason I wanted to play the deck, or at least reason one of many, RES. When I saw this card, I'm like, wow, I can play turn zero. That's very cool. Um, it was only heightened by the fact that my dad got me this very cool QCR RES as a gift when I was talking to him and my dad, or him and my brother, about like I'm interested in this deck. I want to play it, and then they got me this, and like it's a small thing. I don't like to talk about rarity and like brag or anything like that, but I'm gonna do it about this one because this was a gift, and it's somebody who put um, effort and money and just resources, I guess, into my deck that wasn't me. and so I want to play it because somebody else has done that for me. But yeah, I'm gonna stop talking about that. Arius is a great card. It is so live in this version of the deck. The minute that I saw it, I knew that I wanted to play it. Out of 3, I wanted to pick up the deck after historically hating playing against this deck for as long as it has existed. After that, we have 3 Ariana furniture pieces. Sometimes I want to run Clock as a 2 of. When I first got the deck, I was running it as a 2 of. I've kind of gone down to 1 just because the deck is very tight. I could see it going back to a 2 of, but just as is, I'm pretty happy with it. So I won't, explain any more of these cards. After that, we have the Labrynth, Traps, and Spell. Only spell I run in the entire list is Labrynth. Because, obviously turns these into a pop on your opponent's turn, which basically means that this makes Lady or Lovely live now as well as this. But it also has this great thing where you activate a normal trap and then you summon back a fiend from hand or the grave. And, that's great when you have certain virus-related cards in your extra deck that, tribute a monster. And then you summon that monster back. It's great. So that's kind of why I'm doing this right now. I was on the quick play spell for quite some time. I often switch between these 2. I've thought about playing both of them at the same time, but for right now, I think this is fine as is. It's very much a choice dependent thing, and currently I'm really digging it. I'm only playing 2 of these because I only own 2 of them. Another small thing where I'm going to talk about rarity, not because I like to do this for myself, but because I want to shout out my brother. He got me this Italian copy from Rome. And so now every time I play the deck and I set one of these, Grande Benviento Labrynth, which is always fun to say. Funny plumber Italian language makes me have fun with deck. After that, we have some hand traps and pseudo hand trap. Discard off furniture piece. Set trap from deck or stack your deck for when you draw into a good card instead of a bad one for next turn. This one is a trap. This one is a rock that works well with furniture pieces. I barely saw it. I only saw it really against heroes, and that wasn't even at this past tournament. This was like the second to last time I played at a Yu-Gi-Oh event, which really hasn't been often. It's good. I like it. I could also see cutting this for, I don't know, rollbacks or something, just because I barely see it. After that, we have the Trap Trick Suites, which is 2, and then 2 mystery cards, which I'll explain in literally 2 seconds. This is great. It gets your welcomes and these cards. I only have 2 of these, so that's why I'm only playing 2. This is like, I don't know, the 3rd reason why I wanted to play the deck. This card is nuts. That's really it. And then this, another great way to proc your Lady in your Lovely. I need to stop saying Lady, because sometimes you can't just have one card that does that, right? So this is the card that I've chosen, and I think a lot of people have chosen it. I'm a fan. Sometimes I want to side it out for more graveyard removal based thing. So it's an easy side out for that, or easy, exchange for something else. That's kind of the thought with that. So far, I like these ratios. I could do a 3rd very easily and very quickly if I had a 3rd. But, there's that. And then these last 2 normal traps, these, I'll be honest, these were more of a choice due to the fact that there was not a single Snake Eye deck at locals. People hate playing against it. They hate playing it. And, it was like, why do that anymore, right? So knowing this, knowing that I wasn't most likely going to go up against a lot of Link decks, I just did D-Barrier in the main. This was Black Goat last, but I changed it very last minute, mostly because there are a lot of mono-type decks that lose to this instantly. And sometimes just a turn 0 Arius into D-Barrier is game winning. So that's the thought with this. That said, active war crime. This violates the Geneva Convention. It's It's disgusting. Easily bannable card. I don't think anybody would complain until we get into like, I don't know, like another Despia format where just the best deck is the single type. Other card that enters the war crime category is this as a main deck card. I've been seeing a lot of people do with this. I've never been one for like main decking floodgates, at least since I actually started thinking about my deck building. The reason that I've done this is because there aren't a whole lot of Omni Negates up right now, and there are a lot of decks that just die to this, right? Even some decks that don't really deserve to die. I played against Kashtira and had the opponent go summon Riceheart. Then I flipped this up, and then they said, "Oh shoot!" Got rid of it. They only had one monster left on the field. They couldn't go into any extra deck stuff. It kind of it ruined their game plan. It didn't like end them, but it definitely ruined some game plans. The only decks that I would say don't care too much about this are like exactly Tempai and like Kashtira. The Kashtira isn't seeing the most play right now, so you know, I'm not going to worry too much about that. So yeah, that's the thought. These cards make it very hard for the opponent to play against me. It makes it very hard for me to play sometimes because I feel like a jerk. And I remember Rip 2 with Omega is something that, you know, one of my friends, hint, 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 Jesse, does a lot. So I'm like, I'm not going to feel terrible. Just kind of bad. So there's that. After that, extra deck. Bam, bam, bam. That's it. That's all you need. Everything else is very changeable for, I don't know, which version of Labrynth you want to play. The one I chose was the Dogmatica thing because now you just have, you know, it's not just a form of removal, it's a form of follow-up, and you can do a lot of stuff with it. After that, we have Link stuff. I don't own SP, or else that would probably be this, but it's fine. I'm not going to pay for one because this is just a better card, you know, in this deck exactly. Plus, on summon, once per turn, banish effect. Make this, then you Muckraker, summon back, banish another card. Save me against decks that otherwise tend to float in the graveyard. So, I'm a fan. Then this is just good. After that, we have the punishment lineup. These are follow-up. This is a draw 1. This is a pop 2. So these kind of fill the follow-up. These kind of fill the +1ing against your opponent. And then this lets you attack for big stuff, and this lets you F over pendulum decks. Other thing, Unchained stuff. This is the only time during the entire event where I actually made a game-losingly bad misplay, which was, you know, I don't usually find myself going into this line because it never feels like it comes up. That said, this is really good. When it did come up, I just messed up because I went into Anguish after derooming my opponent's field. So I summoned this. I went to do the effect, but beforehand, I actually read the card after making it, and I'm like, oh, I can't use this card's effect. Dang it. You know, so that's the thought. Honestly, I kind of want to cut this, but, you know, extra deck's not tight. I could just put it there and, I don't know, see if it happens eventually. Or, you know, get better cards. Second Typhon, second Chaos Angel, that'd be pretty cool. But I don't own that, so I'm not going to complain about it. Okay, after this, we have the side deck. And this is kind of, I guess you can call it spicier stuff. Definitely some good stuff in here. Good stuff, Lord of Heavenly Sky Prison. 3K body, also protects stuff, also sets things from deck. There was a time where, playing against Tempai, I summoned this out using its, you know, effect. I attacked for 3,000, I big welcome bounced it, got a pop off with Lady, and then main phase 2, revealed it and protected my field. It's very good. This card is awesome. You know, this is for in case I did run into Snake Eyes or a Link deck, but I really didn't. Like, I guess I play against Ubel, and they do a lot of Link climbing, but I don't know. I never I never saw it when I did play against that deck, so I didn't. I'm not too worried, I guess. After that, we have two balls because it's funny. So two balls. Also, I don't have a third, so that's part of it. But it's a good card. It helps you break boards. I just didn't see it at all. After that, um, disease. It really is. Disease for graveyard decks because I don't know. I didn't see this once. I sided this in once. This is a good card. It's not game-winningly broken in most states, but it's pretty like I don't know. I barely go for this as my play once I do side and I'm going first. It's always something else I've realized, which kind of helped because before I actually played this deck, I thought this is the best card in the deck. No, it's very format dependent. But at the time when it is good in the format, it's really good in the format. So there's that time card because I went to locals that I keep referring to. That was a week and a half ago. I didn't lose any matches, but I tied twice, and that sucked. So I threw in this as a burn card in time. I don't know. I just needed one because I realized that I was really being punished by not having one. It feels bad. I didn't have to use it this past tournament, so I'm pretty cool with that. I didn't side it in. I didn't side either of these in or these. I think I sided these in once, but it doesn't matter. These all changeable in my opinion for right now. And then the last things, Ice Dragon's Prison for graveyard decks. The only time where I felt like it would have done something was against Voiceless, but they're not a mono type deck. So when I did side it in, I'm like, wow, this isn't doing anything for me. I think I want to change this for Terrors of the Overroot, but I'm not sure yet. Last card, Black Goat Laughs. This was in the main deck. I switched it out for the Dimension Barriers. Not sure if in a higher stakes event or an event where I know that there's going to be more Snake Eyes that I'll just main deck this instead. In this event, I sided in a few times when I knew oh, D Barrier does nothing here. In certain decks, it's just really good. It's really great discard fodder. It's really great to set. So that's my thoughts with the deck. Or at least that's the deck list. I guess final thoughts would be this deck is very big brained. I did not expect that when I picked it up. I'm really thankful I stuck with it though, because I will continue to say that I'm not the best pilot with this deck. It has been maybe the most rewarding deck experience I've had in terms of actually focusing on what I'm doing and what interactions I'm using when I'm using them, when cards are live, when they're not live, when I can use grave effects or on-field activated effects, stuff like that, where I've had to put a lot of thought into my games when I play it, and I think that's kind of the big reason for why I like it and why I wanted to talk about it. It makes me feel like I am becoming a better player every time I pick it up. So there's that. Otherwise, I don't think I have anything else to say. Thank you if you made it this far in. If you didn't, that is perfectly fine. This is a long video, unfortunately. I keep doing that. I'm sorry. Otherwise, thank you, and goodbye. God bless.